How you doing? This is Autumn Rosa here, again incognito. I was tagged. Can you believe it? The squeaky wheel apparently gets the grease. And Mume tagged me. And so I'm going to give you 5 random facts about me. And I always try so hard not to scratch my nose, but it just seems to be this thing I want to do when I'm on camera. I don't know if I do it all the time. I must. But I have 2 cats. And so I think that's probably the reason. But that's not one of my random facts. My random fact, the first one is that during the reign of The Sopranos, the television show or the HBO show, my husband and I were completely obsessed with it. Now I'm doing my ear too. I guess I must do these things. About 2001, it had been already running for 2 seasons, or almost 3, I think, and I was at the video store and I saw it and I said, I want to hear what all this hype is about. So I rented it, and the minute the credits started rolling with, woke up this morning, got yourself a gun, I'm like, and then, Tony with the attitude and his cigar and going through the Lincoln Tunnel, and I'm from the East Coast, and I hear that Italian accent a lot. And the Italian, attitude, so I felt comfortable watching it. I'm like, this, I'm gonna be obsessed. I know I am, and I was, just waiting for them with their season premieres and rewatching things that my husband and I even went on a Sopranos tour. We took the bus to New York City from Easton, and got on another bus where they drove us around Freehold and all the different places where Tony Soprano and James Gandolfini, who is Tony Soprano, film, and all the different places. We saw Artie's restaurant. What do they call that on there? I don't remember. I'll think of it, I'm sure. The Pork Store, Satrielli's, Carmela's Catholic Church. We met Vito and got our picture taken with Vito. Got his autograph. I gave it to one of my college professors who is really into the Sopranos. We went to the Bada Bing, which is really called the Satin Dolls. This is really just number 1, so I better speed up. But anyway, we went to the Satin Dolls, which is on the show. They call it Bada Bing. And we got ourselves a bottle of wine from the Bada Bing. As you can see, we didn't finish it. It wasn't very good. I suppose to keep the bottle looking nice, we should have dumped out the wine, but we still have it, and that was a fun time that day. Stopped for cannolis and stuff, and yes, it was a good time. Okay, let's see, on to number 2. I know I'm verbose. What do you think I wanted to get tagged for? Gotta talk to somebody here. Okay, in 1984, I packed up my 1972 Dodge Dart, it was pea green, and put my kitty cat Sugar is right here, Mittens was at the time probably about 7-8 years old. Put her in the car and off we went to Merrill, Wisconsin, where my parents were living at the time, in a farm out in the middle of Wisconsin. Real flat land out there compared to being from Pennsylvania. Oh my goodness. And it felt like you were driving forever, because Merrill is right smack dab, I'd say, basically in the middle of the state. And Wisconsin's a big state. Wisconsin goes from about Maine to, I'd say, Delaware, as far as size goes on a map. I don't know as far as miles and everything go like that. But I would say that's pretty close. So just think driving straight from Delaware, up middle of New England, and it was just flat. And of course over in the New England side it wouldn't be, but it was like, I feel like I'm going to be driving off the end of the earth. Very long drive. And I stayed there for 15 years in Wisconsin. Merrill, I lived in Merrill, I lived in Wausau, I lived in Eau Claire, and Marshfield. but I need to move on. Okay. My dad's brother is only 5 years older than me, therefore my uncle was 5 years old when I was born. No, wait a minute, that's not right. My dad's brother, my Uncle Steve, is only 5 years younger than me. Did I say that right? Yeah. My dad was about 15 when he was born, and when my dad was 20, I was born, and my uncle was only 5. So he used to play with me a lot, and I guess I worshipped him. You know how little kids do, older siblings and relatives and different things like that. And I had this panda bear, you know, which is probably about 3 foot tall, sat in the corner of my bedroom, and at night I dreamed that this bear turned into my Uncle Steve, and then we would play all night, and then when it was time to wake up, he would go back into the corner and sit down, and then he'd turn back into the bear. I had this secret with my uncle when I was 5, and I still talk about it quite a bit. He probably gets sick of hearing about it, but I think that it's significant, and something might happen with that story someday. One of 2 things I would like to do, as everybody can probably tell, I'm into cats, and I would like to either be involved in a homeless shelter for cats, you know, helping with the spaying and neutering. Maybe, I'm not sure how I believe about trap and release, where you know, trap a stray cat, feral cat, and you know, have local vets volunteer so that they can get spayed and neutered, and then you set them free again, and that way they're not overpopulating and they can still be feral. I don't know, I want to get involved in something to do with cats. I like dogs too, but just not as much, and I really think I want to go in the cat area. So if it's not that, then it's going to be breeding cats, but I don't know if I really want to do that, since there's such an overpopulation already, and so many are born in the springtime and summer, and there's not even a place for them to go, and so many of them have to die if they don't become feral, or if they don't stay feral. And so I don't know if breeding fancy cats to, you know, go show them is something I really want to do or not, because the 2 interests conflict, but they're both about cats. So that's, maybe I'll go into more about that later. So that was what, 1, 2, 3, and no, it was 4, huh? Okay. But in the cat breeds that I like are ragdolls, and that's a ragdoll. They're like long hair. They're a mixture of Siamese, Persian, and Burman, and I think it has something else I can't think of in there somewhere. But they're white mitted usually, and many times have white faces, and they like many times have the markings of Siamese, the seal points and the different points. They even have red points, which are really pretty. So that's something, when I own my own home, I'm going to decide which one of these things I'm going to be doing. And I like to sing. I've always liked to sing. And I don't have a very, you know, my voice is good, you know, and I suppose with some training it could be better. Who's couldn't? I enjoy singing in choirs. You know, I can sing a cappella. I can sing, you know, with, you know, accompaniment. You know, I'm, you know, open. But my niece, whenever she stays the night with me, wherever we are, whether it would be at her house or my house or at my parents' house, if I was with her, she would always want me to sing her to sleep. She's almost 13 now. She'll be 13 April 7th, I think. But even to this day, you know, she wants me to sing her to sleep, and I sing, you know, Christmas carols and church songs and things that I learned in high school in the choir, just songs that stuck in my head. So that's my 5 things, and I'm almost 10 minutes, so I guess I'll see you later. Ciao, baby.